So we're here celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Ouija board. And so tomorrow, 125 years to the day, the Ouija board was named at 529 North Charles Street, right here in Baltimore. It was made here from 1890 to 1966 when it was sold to Parker Brothers. There were 13 different factories from 1890 to 1966 that all over time made Ouija boards in Baltimore. So by 1920, Ouija was a leading industry in Baltimore.
You know, who doesn't grow up knowing of the Ouija board?
Absolutely.
You know, you get to go to parties and everybody does it, but you don't think of it as history, and you don't think of it as something that actually drove economy.
You know, what's unique about Baltimore is that they have been so open over the years to helping preserve and celebrate that history. So later today, the mayor had signed and will issue a mayoral proclamation. The city will send a representative, and we're unveiling a plaque that we work with the city that will go into the building where the Ouija board was named and tell that story. So anyone who visits that building will be able to read that this is where this all started.
On behalf of Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake, Mayor of the City of Baltimore, I do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2015 as Ouija Board Day in Baltimore, and do urge all citizens, past, present, and future, to join in on this celebration.
Besides this proclamation, we work together with all these different groups to have a plaque that will be placed in the building in 529 North Charles. There you go, you guys. So, depending on your views on death, if you look at 1890 or go back a little further in the spiritualist movement coming off of the Civil War, just massive death in the country. When someone died on the battlefield, you didn't know what happened to them. So it wasn't just you're dealing with death, you're dealing with the unknown. And when you marry that with the rise of the spiritualist movement and the talking board that leaks out of that, then it becomes something that's just huge. The Ouija board stays popular because it represents a piece of us that never changes, which is what happens when you die. Ouija is a brand and a trademark that's been in continuous use since 1890. Talking boards is the general term. Because it was marketed as a game, because it leaked out of that movement and went into pop culture, every generation discovers it. Its origins have been completely lost. And so over this last 20 years, I represent the Talking Board Historical Society. A group of dedicated collectors and historians have been able to collaborate and basically rewrite the history. So today, the Ouija board is interesting because it also represents our complete uncomfortableness with death. For $19.95, you get an unlimited calling plan to the other side, no overages, no roaming. In today's world, what has really helped the Ouija board is the interest in the paranormal.
And why do you think the interest in paranormal has come?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. You can just look at the cable networks. Every network has a paranormal show.
And where did they come up with the name?
What happened was Charles Kennard, Elijah Bond, and his sister-in-law, Helen Peters, were all sitting around, and they asked this talking board they were making what it wanted to be called. And it spelled out Ouija. And when they asked what that meant, it said, good luck. And so Ouija, the Egyptian luck board, was born.
Why is it important to you to preserve the history?
Well, I mean, I live in Massachusetts, and there's been a few manufacturers in Massachusetts, especially W.S. Reed Toy Company. So to know that one of the earliest manufacturers was right in my backyard, I have a connection to that. That was pretty much, they were the largest toy company in the country for a few years.
There's not a lot of board games or even anything like this, I guess you could say toys, that are still so popular 125 years later. What do you think it is about the Ouija board?
Well, I think the Ouija board, it's very accessible. For me, it was always drawn to the dark side of it, thinking the possibility of like, is this really gonna work? Or is this just all, we're making this up?